Hey guys, welcome back to this bonus episode of The Well-Rounded Dude. Today we are going to talk about Halloween Kills. So this is going to be a spoiler-filled review, but please stay tuned and bear with me, and we're going to get my thoughts on it. My name is Chris. If you're new here, welcome. On this channel we cover a whole bunch of topics trying to elevate you to that well-rounded status. Today is no exception. We are going to go over some entertainment today. The latest Halloween movie came out, Halloween Kills, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. So let's hop into it right now. So I'm just going to warn you right now, this is going to be a very spoiler-filled thought review type video. So if you haven't seen it yet, please put a pause on this. Go watch it. You can stream it on Peacock or go to your local theater and see it and then come right back here and we can discuss it. So you guys may remember Michael Myers in Halloween is my favorite scary movie of all time, the original Halloween, and a couple years ago they did a sequel. I also did a video review on several, well, not a review, but ranking of several of the movies, all of them up until Halloween Kills. You guys can see that here. But the latest sequel dropped the other day, and I got a chance to see it, and I want to share my thoughts with you guys. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it was okay. It did not blow my socks off. So the reason why I say it's good and not great is there's some risks that are taken in this that I don't think, some paid off, some didn't, and I think a lot of the risks that they took in this movie will pay off in the next one, and some of them may not, but I'll get to it. One of the things I thought was really cool was the intro. Seeing the cop that was stabbed by the evil doctor in Halloween 2018, which, by the way, if you have not seen that, remember this is a very spoiler-heavy, spoiler-filled review. You're going to want to go see those movies, Halloween and Halloween Kills, then come right back here and we can pick up where you left off. But we see him have a flashback as he's bleeding out, and he kind of has a flashback to 1978. It's a scene that they shot that is supposed to take place after Dr. Loomis shot Michael Myers off of the balcony in the original, and sees that Michael is going back to his family home. And the cops follow him there, and as they're investigating in there, one of the cops mentions to the other cop, to his partner, that he knew Michael Myers. They played together when they were kids. He just said that he wasn't weird, he was just different, nothing out of the ordinary, but he would like to stare out of his sister's bedroom. And if you guys remember, it was his sister's bedroom that where his sister's murder took place, where he killed her, where he stabbed her. But he would just like to stare out of the window for certain amounts of time, or long periods of time. But as they go in there, Michael comes crashing through and uses that cop as a shield, and the cop that got stabbed, I believe his name is, I can't remember the cop's name, that got stabbed in the throat. He was trying to save his partner, but he shoots him by accident, and at this point the cops have swarmed the house. Michael gets away downstairs and they arrest Michael. We get a cool scene in there with the magic of modern video editing of Dr. Sam Loomis. They did a really good job making it look like Dr. Loomis. The guy who did his voice was pretty good, but nothing beats the original, and unfortunately Donald Pleasance is no longer with us. But it was a cool scene because Dr. Loomis is such a big character, a big important part of the Halloween franchise, that it was nice to see him again for even just 2 seconds. We then proceed to current day, which, by the way, this movie takes place in 2018, so it's the same night as Halloween 2018. We see that Laurie's house is on fire, and they're in the truck. How it ended, with Laurie, her daughter, and granddaughter in the truck, injured and riding away, presumably to the hospital. we see the house is on fire, but then all of a sudden, and this was spoiled in the trailers, we see the fire department heading towards her house, and it's a pretty intense scene where we see the fire department go in, try to stop the blaze, and one falls in the basement, and then that's our first appearance of current senior citizen Michael Myers, who proceeds to slaughter the entire rescue fire crew. So it was a pretty cool scene, very inventive. They've really done a good job of showing the brutality of Michael in these movies. But we're going to get to my criticism of the movies, because now, or not the Halloween franchise, but my criticism of this movie per se. We cut to a bar. We see that they're gathered there to celebrate the holiday. They don't know that Michael is back at this point, and it's open mic night. And we hear about some characters that from the original Halloween that we never get to see, like Lonnie Elam. We heard about him. We never got to see him, I don't believe, unless he was one of the kids that was torturing Tommy in that one scene in 1978. But I digress. Anyway, and it's open mic night, and Tommy Doyle gets up and says a speech. And I was all cool with the speech because it's not the same actor. It's played by Anthony Michael Hall. But the girl that played Lindsay from the original 1978 one, she's in it. She plays Lindsay again, which I think is really cool. Dr. Marilyn Chambers, the lady, it's her same actress. She actually was in the original Halloween, Halloween 2, and Halloween H2O, but she makes an appearance in this one too, which is very cool. And he gives a speech about, it's Halloween, we were terrorized, but we survived, we're here, and the boogeyman's going to come back someday, but we won't let him because this is our town and we're survivors. I was all on board with that. What I didn't like what they did with the character was once they did announce that Michael Myers was back and that he was loose in Haddonfield, Tommy panicked. And it just made him a very unlikable character, in my opinion. He panicked, and he started this mob to go after Michael. And that's two things that just didn't work for me in this movie was the fact that Tommy started this mob, this lynch mob, and the fact that there was a lot of time spent on showing that this lynch mob was going after the wrong person, because we find out that there's another escaped convict that's on the loose, and this one isn't like as violent as Michael. He's scared. Okay, he's a mental patient. He's scared, and he's scared of everything that's going on, and they make it a point, and I think it's a political point on the director's portion to show. When this movie was filmed, this was in the height of the election. I don't want to get too much into it because your politics are your politics. But they spend a lot of parts of this movie trying to make a point about mob mentalities, and I think just too much of it was spent on this lynch mob that ultimately goes after the wrong person. And to me, that just didn't work. A lot of this is taking place in a hospital. You do see Lori get operated on and her life saved, and at first she thinks that they killed Michael, then she learns that they didn't, and she's part of the lynch mob too at first, but once she sees the guy and realizes that it's not him, she backs off, which a lot of the people do, like Lori and her daughter. Her granddaughter gets caught up in this lynch mob. She doesn't go after this patient per se, but these people are chasing this guy and they have no clue of who he is. Some of them did go after Michael, but the real Michael, but I digress. And that's one of the things I think that they could have focused less on was this mob. Meanwhile, Michael is trying to get his way back to his childhood home, which he succeeds in doing. And we see that there's a couple that's living there now. Michael kills them. It's what he does. And he stands to look out of his sister's window, what was once his sister's bedroom. He's standing there looking out. And finally, we see that Laurie's granddaughter makes her way with some of the other town lynch mobbers to confront Michael. They get slaughtered, and she's almost killed in the process when her mother, Karen, stabs Michael, takes his mask, and kind of teases him like, you know, come and get it, I'm a defenseless woman, come and get me. And she leads him into this chase, and then he's caught by the lynch mob, led by Tommy, and they proceed to beat the hell out of him and try to kill him. So they make you think that he does, and he doesn't. They don't succeed in killing Michael, of course. Michael make them think that he's down, but as soon as he gets his second win, he takes them all out and he kills Tommy Doyle. And honestly, I don't feel bad about that. That's one of the things why I say that there's some things that works in this movie and things that don't. And they made Tommy Doyle an unlikable character. I just don't think that that's the right move. I think that they could have gone a different way, but they make him an unlikable character, and he gets killed by Michael. And, you know, another scene in the movie that happens is that Laurie talks to the cop that got his throat slashed from the first one, and he says, you know, Michael really wasn't coming for you. He was led to your house by this corrupt doctor from the first one. He probably doesn't even remember you, which makes her kind of like question like her whole life, because if you guys remember from the other movie, she is all preparing because she knows he's going to come back for her and have this great big fight, and they wind up doing it. But the cop was right. It wasn't because Michael was looking for her. It was because he was led there. It could have been anybody's house. So that was one of the things like I'm sure is going to be explored a little bit more in the next movie. The closing scene of this movie is very interesting too. We see that the cops, most of the people think that Michael is dead. They are unaware at this point that he's killed the lynch mob. And Karen, Laurie's daughter, you know, she takes care of her own daughter, and because they're still at the Myers house, and then she proceeds to go upstairs, and she remembers the story, hearing the story of Michael just spending time looking at out of his sister's bedroom window, and she goes up and she's looking out her window, and Michael appears behind her, and it looks like he kills her. He stabs her to death, and then he just continues staring out of the window. Meanwhile, Laurie Strode is in her hospital room, like staring out, looking out of a window, and that's where they leave it. So there are some things again that it just seems weird to me. In this movie, there is no scene of Laurie and Michael together. This is the first time in a Halloween movie the two of them don't meet at all. That's very weird for me. It seems like a missed opportunity. But again, we did have a pretty badass scene in the last movie, and I'm sure we're going to have one in the next one, but of the two of them confronting each other. So that was weird for me. Seeing... They had a scene in here where they showed that Loomis was going to execute Michael in 1978. Again, this is a different continuity if you guys don't remember. These are direct sequels to the original Halloween, 1978. They ignore Halloween 2 and beyond. So it is a different take on Loomis, but I don't see Loomis like being an executioner, like right then and there, just like, oh, I'm gonna do it, boom. I don't see that. Not having Laurie and Michael at least have a scene together seemed like a missed opportunity. Focusing on the lynch mob. I get they were trying to make a statement, but that's quite a bit much. I mean, it was a little too much. And I get it, but I think they could have dialed it back a little bit. Also, Tommy's part in it and seeing how he was acting and riling up this lynch mob, and it seemed off in his character. But again, this is a direct sequel. I kind of like the way they had him in Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, with Paul Rudd. That was Paul Rudd's first role, by the way. I just preferred that one, but I get that they were trying something different. But all in all, at the end of the day, I would say it's a good movie. It's not great. It's not as good as the other one, I don't think. But again, this is also the middle chapter in a trilogy, so we have more story to go, and I think they're going to play up on some things of why was Michael standing in his sister's bedroom staring out the window constantly. I think that's something that they'll cover in future, hopefully in the next movie. But yeah, if I had to rate it out of 5, I would give it a 3. I think it's good. It's something, if you love Halloween, if you love slasher movies, you should definitely go see it. I mean, the kills in it are pretty good. Some great special effects. Michael is at his worst. I did read somewhere that this is the most kills in a slasher movie. I think they said 25. This is at 25, and it's implied that it was 30. So we may not get to see those 5 on screen, but it's implied that it was 30. So we'll just say 25 for visual references. But that's the most. I think the next one was Jason Voorhees and Jason X. He had 20 or 21. So this topped it by quite a few. So it's definitely worth checking out. If you love Halloween, if you love Michael Myers, if you love scary movies, definitely check it out. Guys, that's going to do it for this video. I figured I'd keep it short and sweet and try to avoid as much edit as possible. But let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought of the movie. I'm curious. Like I said, I'm a big Halloween fan, so I'm always excited to see a new Halloween movie. But, well, this one definitely was not the worst in the franchise. It definitely wasn't the best either. So let me know what you thought down in the comments. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, share. Help me fight the YouTube algorithm. We could use lots and lots of these. Alright guys, and be sure to check out thewellroundeddude.com. Dude15 gets you 15% off your total purchase. And we will catch you in the next one.